I also have a tribute to Michael for in 2009 he gave me a coaching lesson when I came to present at an event for our charity Zimbabwe Health Training Sport. I was very grateful, best coaching I've ever had. So I'm here today to talk about epilepsy with my colleague Dorcas, and some facts and some figures. In England, in the UK, just under 1% of people have epilepsy. So in this room, I imagine there may be 1 or 2 people who have epilepsy. Everybody in this room, I believe, will know somebody with epilepsy. I'm a GP in the East End of London, and I'm used to supporting people with epilepsy, and they're well managed, we're diagnosing, they're treated, they live good quality lives. What's the situation in Zimbabwe? Well, 5% of people have epilepsy in Zimbabwe, probably because there's high rates of children, disability, HIV. But listen to this. This is the treatment gap. 75% of people are not diagnosed and therefore not treated. That is catastrophic. That's a massive treatment gap. Epilepsy is a treatable condition. And there are challenges, and the challenges are lack of knowledge for healthcare staff and huge stigma. You can imagine if somebody collapses and has what we call a tonic-clonic seizure, you're shaking on the floor, that if you're in a rural community, people think they're possessed, witchcraft, they're ostracised, so people do not seek help. It's a massive stigma, it's a massive problem. Now, the Epilepsy Support Foundation has been in existence since 1990, but is largely focused, centralised in Harare. It really wants to go out into rural communities and focus on children. Now you're probably wondering, why have I put feet? What's that got to do with epilepsy? Well, this woman has epilepsy, and she was cooking sadza.
Could you use the microphone more, please?
Sorry. She was cooking sadza, and she fell into the fire. She's had toes amputated. It's massively affected her life. When she was on a ward, there were 6 people on that ward who'd also fallen into fires. It's a massive problem if it's not treated, not diagnosed. Here's a little baby who's fallen and has got bruised eye. Not diagnosed, not treated, and injured. Now I'm going to hand over to my colleague Dorcas to talk about the solution.
Thank you, Kate. My name is Dorcas Guata, and I'm one of the many nurses who are from Zimbabwe who work in the NHS. I also have opportunities to go back home and support our healthcare system. I will say, out of all that I've done in Zimbabwe, epilepsy has touched me most. Why? Because they are so vulnerable. They're exploited. They're often robbed of their goods. Girls report sexual exploitation whilst they're having a fit. I remember doing some teaching, and I had a $2 budget for every participant, and they asked me if they could walk to the center and they could keep the dollar. So there are huge problems here, and we have an opportunity to make a difference, huge difference, for a very significant problem. And nurses like Alice, who I work with, Alice does not have the opportunity to have as much impact on our population and local society than I do in the NHS. She just hasn't got the exposure to expand her skills, although she wants to. And she is the key. So what are we trying to do? We want to roll out some training in Zimbabwe and focus in rural areas. We want to roll out training so that nurses and healthcare and support workers and community healthcare workers are better equipped to deal with epilepsy. When I've trained in Zimbabwe, I've had a very experienced community healthcare workers come up to you and say, we can do HIV, we can't do epilepsy. Because they too are afraid that if they step into anybody's urine, they might catch epilepsy, because it's seen as an infectious disease. It's full of stigma, a lot of conspiracy, cultural practices. So we're looking to demystify that, and with a huge focus on rural areas, because that is where most of the problems are. We're looking to target 80 clinics in rural areas. Once we've rolled this train-the-trainer model, which we want to roll out, we want to be able to be evaluated because it has capacity to scale itself up. And many years ago, you very kindly funded the Friendship Bench project, a project which is rolling out today right across Africa, because it has to be sustainable. So essentially, it's a training package rolling out to 80 clinics with focus in rural areas, with focus on children and women, because those are the most vulnerable in society. The healthcare system in Zimbabwe is fragile, but it also has capacity to extend itself, and the capacity to absorb training is really huge. And I've seen that with my own eyes. Here's a nurse walking past a healthcare system in Zimbabwe, in rural areas. And this is the depth of what we're talking about. Can we demystify epilepsy through these healthcare systems? And £100 to £200 a day will make a difference to that kind of clinic and strengthen its capacity to deliver healthcare. But who's this all about? This is about Fungi, who at 10 years old had a first epileptic fit. People thought she was possessed. Her parents took her to traditional healers and spent a lot of money on traditional healers, and then found the Epilepsy Foundation in Zimbabwe, and then got some treatment. Today she's a mother of a boy, Tunderai, and she's living her life. And she's living a better life so that she can contribute to our own society, and perhaps even contribute to our own economy. Thank you for having us, and thank you for listening to our course.